Dumfries è solo Lautaro, rete, ha segnato l'Inter!
This is the Pazza Inter podcast, where we talk passion, tactics, victories, heartbreak, and everything in between. Because with Inter, it's never just football. Vamos! Vamos! Well, ciao my people, and welcome back to the Pazza Inter podcast. I'm your host, DJ Nik, coming at you from Milan, the home of the boys in black and blue. And today, my fellow Inter fans, today feels very different. Not louder, but deeper, because Inter are champions of Italy for the 21st time in their history. Sunday night, San Siro, 2-0 against Parma, and even if we felt it all coming, when it finally happens, it still lands in a different way. There's relief, of course, there's pride, and a kind of quieter satisfaction, because this wasn't just a title, it was a season built with clarity and consistency. Coming into the match, we needed just 1 point to secure the championship. Napoli had already dropped points, Milan were out of the race, everything was nicely aligned. And sometimes those are the most complicated games, when you only need enough. But this team hasn't been built to settle, nope. They've spent the entire season playing with identity, controlling matches, trusting their structure and staying composed. And from the very first minute, you could tell they weren't going to approach this differently. Let's look just at the first half. The opening phase wasn't explosive, but it was very controlled. Parma stayed compact, protecting central spaces and trying to force Inter wide, and for a while they made things difficult. But we never rushed. Nicolò Barella kept moving between lines, constantly offering an option. Federico Di Marco stretched the pitch on the left, opening spaces gradually, and of course Dumfries was Dumfries. There were chances, Barella hitting the bar, Thuram and Dumfries testing the defence, but more than anything, there was control. And that's what mattered, because Inter trusted that the moment would come, and come it did. Right before half-time indeed, because Marcus Thuram found the space, staying composed and finished cleanly, 1-0. And in that moment, something shifted. Not just relief, but certainty. The tension that had been sitting in the stadium all night just released. It felt like everyone understood this was our night. Second half was very much about maturity and control, and what followed in that half I think says a lot about this team. They didn't become emotional, they didn't overcommit looking for a second goal, they managed the game. Possession became control, positioning became protection. Parma struggled to find space, struggled to build anything meaningful, and this is where the work of Christian Kivu becomes very clear. The distances between players are always right. When Inter lose the ball, they close spaces together. When they have it, there's always a passing option. Everything feels connected, and that connection makes the team both stable and flexible. And then we got our second goal, and the second goal I think captures the identity of this team perfectly. Lautaro, welcome back, drops deeper, draws defenders, links play, he creates the space and delivers the pass. And Henrik Mkhitaryan arrives at exactly the right time, calm, composed, precise, 2-0. At that point the result almost becomes secondary. The feeling is taking over. This team, why does it feel so different? What stands out about this Inter side is how complete it feels. They don't rely on one phase of the game. They can control tempo, accelerate when needed, defend with organisation, and create chances in different ways. And of course, we have multiple players to thank for that, if not the entire team. Above all, Lautaro Martinez, our captain, our leader. His evolution has been central. It's not just about goals anymore. He leads the press, he links play, he sets the tone emotionally and tactically. He is the reference point for the entire system, a true captain. Marcus Thuram, decisive presence, he brings something different. Movement and physicality and the ability to decide games in key moments. He doesn't need volume, just the right opportunity. And then our midfield has been stellar, and even so was also this particular game. Barella, Mkhitaryan, even Sucic, and of course Di Marco and Dumfries offer a rare balance. Energy and intelligence and control, and they allow Inter to stay stable without losing creativity. And that balance is what defines and has defined many of their performances. And after the whistle, of course, the city responded. At the final whistle, everything changed. In Milan, the streets filled immediately, flags and chants and embraces, a shared moment. At Piazza del Duomo, thousands gathered. It's not just celebration, it's connection between people, between moments, between seasons. So, of course, we are very, very happy for this 21st title, and a huge thank you to the boys, Kivu, and the entire organisation for bringing us yet another title, and especially congratulations, as I said before, to Kivu on his first full season as Inter's manager to bring this back, and hopefully more trophies will come his way, of course. Looking ahead, we will be playing Lazio in Rome away this coming Saturday, and even in moments like this, the season does continue. On paper, we are of course already champions, but this game still carries meaning, because Lazio are still competing, there's pride involved, and with a Coppa Italia final between these two approaching, May 13th, there's also a psychological layer. What I think one should watch for in this game is, first off, I'm sure rotation will likely play a role. Some players may rest, others will step in, but beyond lineups, the key question, as we've said multiple times on this podcast, is, take a drink, mentality. Does Inter maintain the same clarity, the same structure, the same intensity? This team has built something over the season, not just results, but habits, and those habits die very hard. Also, I'd say this is a season, regardless of what happens with the Coppa Italia, this is a season that will be remembered. Not only because we won the title, but because of how we did it. With control, with consistency, with identity, and against all odds. Moments like this are rare, even for big clubs with Inter's history. So it's worth taking the time to really appreciate it. And of course, my fellow Inter fans, just like me, enjoy it, take it in, and then we move forward. And that is it for today, for today's episode of the Pazza Inter podcast. Remember, as always, with Inter, it's never easy, it's never calm, and it's never boring, but we wouldn't have it any other way. Share the podcast with a fellow Inter fan, and as always, I'll see you next time. I've been your Italian DJ Nik. Thank you for listening, Campioni d'Italia, and as always, Forza Inter. Vamos!